Thank you. You all hear me? Wonderful. I just have to get this going, and I'll be right there. You've been sitting down a lot today, haven't you? Yes? I think you should all just get up for a second, please, and stand up. And then you all just turn to your right, please. That's like this, yes. And then go like this with your arms. And then move towards the person in front of you and just massage him a little bit, or her. Okay? And of course, to be very, very equal, also do it the other way around. This was actually more for my own good, to avoid you from falling asleep now in the hard work of being the last person to speak here. I represent today Eden Spiekermann. We're in office in the creative but also commercial industry, just like most of the audience here today. What's a little bit different about us, which we're very proud of, is that we're not part of a big commercial network, but we are privately held and owned. I'm one of the owners, but we also have owners in all our cities. Our clients have a very wide variety of different businesses and different areas they work in, but they all have a lot of similar problems. And the problems are very much linked to what we have been talking about today. It's about making sense of the digital transformation and making sense of it in a sustainable way and not just in a short-term commercial way. I would like to start my talk today with a quote by one of my colleagues. Actually, we have so many tools at our hands today, and technology has become so good at helping us to create awesome products and services, but what is our real role? And this is what I want to talk about. So if it's not about making awesome design and creating good, usable products and services, what is it all about? The way it's changing and the way it should change, I would like to illustrate with a little example, which is from last year. Last year, about 50,000 refugees came to Berlin, and the public authorities in Berlin were totally overwhelmed and could not really help the people administratively as fast as they should. So this led to a lot of trouble and also a lot of frustration. And the German population and also the world population wanted to step in. So being developers, and we did what we were best at, and we created digital solutions. The logic was everybody has a smartphone, so let's make something which is valuable for the refugees. What came out of it, unfortunately, very often was stuff like this. These emojis, refugee emojis. I very rarely rant about people's stuff, but I think that this is really, it's about real people, about communicating the fact that refugees are real people. And I really would doubt that people who do not believe that refugees are really real people are going to believe it because they get to use these emojis. Another example of how people were maybe spent too much time behind their screen is this app. I don't know if anyone heard about this service. It's called IC. And the idea is that you can actually monitor via satellite a part of the ocean, and you can flag to vessels being close to this part of the ocean if you see a refugee vessel on the ocean. Well, maybe the idea behind the screen was very good, but after a very short while, this app was actually removed from the App Store again because it was not real live satellite pictures that was shown in the app. also it was just not really working. So who are the people who did actually go a little bit of a longer way and maybe a little bit of another way to really help the refugees? One very good initiative was called the ICT4. It was a conference that was held in Berlin in May. Did anyone attend it? No? It was about getting people, it was an initiative to get people together from different disciplines, also from grassroots movements, to actually find out how can we, in a sustainable way, help the refugees. So one of the initiatives, as much as I do also am a little bit skeptical about it, was that they actually went to the Greek island of Samos after this conference, and they started to study what was really happening when the refugees boarded this island. Now you can think about it as, well, was it people going a little bit to the zoo and looking at these refugees and still having the nice comfort of being able to go back behind their screens? But actually something good came out of it. This is an app which is called First Contact. It allows refugees who border different places in Europe to actually get a nice customer journey of what do you do. So they found out that the refugees have a very hard time finding out when they arrive in on the islands or wherever they arrive what they actually should do. They try to look at, with their little mobile phones, they try to look at the official websites. They get lost in the care of languages and official speak and authorities, and this actually translates all these websites into just very easy steps to take when you border a new country as a refugee. Very nice initiative. Another initiative I'm very proud to say is by an ex-employee from Eden Spiekermann. It's called Work Here, and they realized that when people came to Berlin, and when the refugees got to Berlin and actually settled in, they had big problems finding jobs. So a lot of them did not have access to any computers so that they could make a CV or manage their applications in a good way. So they set up this website where you can have a little mobile template where you can fill out your CV and you can actually connect to different employers who are interested in your profile. So this is a very simple website, and it has become such a success that now this team of people are working full-time on this project. So I think that it's very right to say that the users that we work for, they don't care about what we do, they care about how we solve their problems. And to put it really pointy, I would say that if our work is not relevant, it's actually worthless. And that means, at the consequence, yes, we've heard this a lot of times, we need to know our audience. This is nothing new at all. We also have to know them better than they do themselves. So it's a lot about empathy, and it's a lot about understanding where is it really that we can help people. And I don't know how it is in your business, but we have to pay constant attention in our business when we work for our customers, and it sometimes really is a fight to block time in our budgets to actually identify what are the real problems. Some of the things we do is that we start working on the solutions without asking the question of why. Really, it's a very simple question. It's only 3 letters, and it's the question why. If you ask this question enough times, then you can get away from your screen and you can start finding out, is there a strategy, is there a plan, or is it actually another attempt to make something that has very little or no relevance. So what we need to do is we need to be part of stopping this digital arms race, which I call it. And I think you're all familiar with this situation and these conversations. These are some conversations that I think most of us, were at least working on agency sides, have been part of. It's about doing what the competitors do. So all these companies stuck in the middle of the digital transformation, not really knowing what to do. And that what they start doing is to randomly produce digital stuff and services. Often they do too much. They do it very little goal-oriented, and they do it, but what they do it out of the lack of understanding where we're all going. And I think that we can play a role, not that we always have the answers, but I think we can play a role in understanding the digital transformation if we start to ask the right questions instead of just giving solutions and answers all the time. Now, I picked a total random brand here. This is Mercedes. It could have been any other brand. And actually, if you go to the App Store, there are 30 Mercedes apps. So how many of you has a Mercedes app on your phone that you have used? Hey, 2 people down there, great, okay. If you look at these numbers, this is probably no surprise that the number of mobile app downloads have gone up to 268,000, is it 268 million in 2017. By the end of this year, this will be the numbers. And if you compare them to these numbers here, which is the percentage of apps only used once. So roughly a quarter of all the apps that are produced are only used once. So that gives you a total of 67 million apps that have only been used once. I don't know what you think, but I think that's a pretty scary number. And just to give you another few numbers, this is the statistics of how the users interact with their app over time. So actually it shows that over time, over a period of 2 weeks, and if you go to 3 months, there are hardly any users who still interact with their apps. And also interesting is this graph that shows that how the time that developers spend with their apps is decreasing at the same rate. So where in 2009 developers spent roughly 2 years with an app, it's today down to 3 months. So what I think we have is a graveyard of UX hopes and dreams. And I think we need to think about how we measure the success of our work, because I think measuring the success of our work in the way that could change things is a new way that we can actually interact with our everyday life. And I would like you today just to take 2 minutes to discuss, the two of you, just in pairs or however you want to do it, how do you measure the result or the success of your work today? Is it the call from the client? Is it a number of downloads? Is it a number of clicks? And maybe just talk about how you can do it differently. Okay, so 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, sounds like it's something you could discuss for a little more time. Anyone who has something you would like to share? Any new insights? No? Yes? Clive?
Well, we just had a discussion here, and it was very much personal success, which was interesting, because Ingo, he quit his job 1.5 years ago, and he said it was a great success for him because he feels less stress with bad stress. When there's stress, it's good stress because he does now something that he loves, and so that's definitely a success. So I'd say the feeling of independence and meaning.
Okay, so we have here in the front the feeling of independence and meaning, quitting your job if you don't like what you do. On a professional scale, when you're sort of in your job. Anyone has any comments? Anything to share? No? Okay. Mm.
It's hard to pin down, like, how do you measure that kind of impact?
Yeah.
If you do it, that is a vague sort of starting point for determining how much success you had with.
Yeah. I think that's a good one to say, does it have any impact? Because if it's relevant, it has an impact. If it's irrelevant, it doesn't have an impact.
Yeah, maybe I can share something that Manuel and I
Yeah.
were talking about. First, there was also thing called money. Yeah, did we earn money this day?
Yeah.
Maybe. But later on, it was something more practical, like our to-do list is done or not. And at the end, we came to the point of emotional reasons that we are satisfied with the day or not. And it's something that maybe it's a higher objective. Something like that, to go home and feel good.
Yeah, to go home and feel good. Well, I think it actually starts with knowing more about who we really design for. This is nothing new, but I want to share something with you. This is a new survey. It's done in 2015, and it shows the digital user index in Germany. It's done on the basis of about 33,000 people across all layers of the population. And now I want you to guess what you see here. First, I want to explain it to you. What you see on the left-hand side are the digital savvy users, so in different kinds of professional use. You have the smart mobilist, the passion onliner, and the reflected pro. So these are all people who feel at home on the internet, who are there all the time. On the right-hand side, you have basically the outsiders or the almost outsiders. So you have people who use it occasionally, maybe to look up something. You have people who use it but don't really care about it. And then you have people who are totally outside. There's the skeptics. And now I want you to guess what the percentage is of people on this side as opposed to people on this side. So how many percentage of the German population are in one of the 3 red categories, and how many are in one of the 3 green categories? Now, for anyone who thinks all the people who thinks it's around 50-50, please raise your hands. Okay, not so many. People who think that there are more people in this category than in this category, Please raise your hands. Okay, good. And people who think that the most people are in this category must be the rest. And guess what? You were right. This is the percentage. And to make it even more scary, these are the breakdown percentages. So my guess is that you spent 90% of your work designing for less than 20% of the German government. If you look at these 12% and 6%, you spent 90% of your work designing for 20% of the government. Now, as much as I know that these percentages, 27 and also a tendency of 32 are people who are older, I still think it's really worth thinking about. Who is really your audience? So who of you have designed something for this right-hand category within the last 4 weeks? Okay, a few hands, that's good. And I think if you look at it, there are lots of products that are actually designed for a small elite. This is a new product which is called Coin. It is developed, what a surprise, in Silicon Valley, and it is like mobile payment, only it's like saying, okay, we went from money that we had in our hands, then we went to virtual money, and now we're going back to money that we have in our hands, so that we can tangibly feel how much money we've got left. So the concept is you fill it up, and it changes the structure as you pay with it. You pay with it with mobile payment, and it changes the way it feels, the pattern that you can feel in your pocket as you pay with it. Now, how many percentage of what we just saw are going to use that one day? I don't think it's a lot. So today we're actually pretty good at knowing our direct users. So we've used design thinking, we've used different research methods, we can do it online, we can really monitor who our users are and how they behave. That's why now products like these come on the market. Do you know it, the Amazon Dash button? You can put it on your fridge, and when you run out of detergent, you press it, and the next day Amazon sends you a parcel of this detergent. So this is convenient. This is great and convenient for us, but what does it actually mean in a larger context? What it means is this. It means that a large percentage of people are going to have an everyday life being badly paid and working in every day in that environment. And we're contributing to it with our work. It also means that this is the way our highways and our little local roads are going to look like because of all the white trucks that drive around and deliver one packet of detergent to my home. Last year we had a company, this is not it, this is just because it was a similar company. They did pick up your laundry and deliver it at home. They came to us and they said, our brand doesn't really work and we want you to find out why. So we looked at the customer journey and we analyzed it. We actually went on a trip to find out what the journey was of this laundry, and we found out that the problem looked like this. This is the guy that delivers the laundry. He's very often a smoker, so your laundry stinks. He's badly paid, and he's probably in a good mood. And that's the way your customer journey ends for a lot of customers, and you sit in your startup office, look at the screen, and wonder what's wrong with your brand. It's not that complicated, is it? So, as US specialists, the scope and the complexity of our work has really increased. And I don't think any of us can think that we can understand all of it, but I think we should know that this is also what the digital transformation looks like in most boardrooms. It is trying to draw a red thread through all these new areas of competence, all these new skills that organizations have to build up and have to deal with, and not only have to make sense of, but also have to develop long-term strategies within. So if we look at our role, it's not just for apps and websites. I think we know that. But I think we can get much better at understanding how to navigate the complete ecosystem. We are creative people, and we can use our creativity to ask questions, and we should have the courage to also ask our customers these questions, because they don't always know better. And if we have this courage, maybe we can help being a part of the solution, instead of just delivering what people think they need, but don't really know. I experience that very often in our work, that we think we know what the customers need, but we don't really know. The last thing I want to talk about is what are our role models, because I think we need new heroes. For many, many years, Apple has been our role model, and when you think about what they do, the software updates have become faster and faster, and that also means that we have to change our hardware faster and faster. So we have to change it not because it doesn't work anymore, but because it doesn't correspond with the software. And if we have role models like that, that means we're going to go on creating the way we always created. So what I would like to talk to you about now is, can we find new role models? And can we find role models that don't think that it's either about profit or about sustainability, but about both? And I would like to hear from you what you think could be new role models. I don't have a lot of answers, unfortunately, apart from maybe, and not even really, Tesla. There are a lot of, I think there are a lot of non-profit organizations that are doing a fantastic job, but who are the new heroes who actually manage to combine both?
Social businesses.
Social businesses. Can you name some?
Here, especially in Berlin, like a little beer brand is called Quartiermeister.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's basically the principle that you can actually earn money, but all the profit they have at the end of the day, they give to a bigger impact, like a social impact. For example, a lemonade that spends all the profit on making sure that the countries or the places where their resources come from, like the fruits, which are obviously not growing in Germany or around, can grow in their infrastructure and better work placement and all this stuff. But it is not that they don't earn money. So they earn lots of money and they can pay their workers, even here in Germany. So it's a working business model, but they don't gain profit to like drive bigger cars at the end of the day. They give that all away for a better purpose.
Sounds it's also not very scalable.
It is very scalable.
You think it is scalable?
Yeah, it works with a lot of businesses already. It started all with a guy that started to give him Bangladesh like micro credits.
Oh yeah.
Don't get the name now. Maybe someone can help me. Yeah, but it's worth to look it up. Like the concept of social business, and it grows more and more everywhere in the world. And I think even in this business where we are in, yeah, that's an answer for a better role model, because it doesn't mean you do a good thing and a sustainable thing and you cannot live with that. You can live from that, doing a good thing.
Yeah. Any other examples? Clive?
Yeah, I hate to quote myself, but I think two examples from that I had. I think the B Corporation movement is a really good example, because there's like a clean canteen.
Get up and turn around.
Pardon?
Do you want to get up and turn around so people can...
Okay, yeah, so I think the B Corporation movement is a really good example. The only example on the top of my head right now is Clean Canteen, who do these really high-class drinking bottles. They're B Corp. And there's a few agencies, digital agencies in the US at least already, that are certified B Corporations. And the certification is actually quite strict. Does mean something. But it's not just tree huggers and do-gooders, it's high-quality products with a sustainable thing. And I really like the approach of the Austin Center for Design, so the Old Frog employee, John Coco, with teaching people our skills, but sort of planting the seeds that you can do it for social business as well. And I think that's a great approach.
Okay.
And maybe not first do a project for the evil ones and then learn about it later, but maybe have that in the top of your head straight away.
Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, we're tree huggers and we're also a B Corporation. We're actually the first one in Germany, and being in the network a little bit, you get a lot of great examples all over the world. It's really a growing movement, these social businesses. I'm not sure if the one I'm about to name is one actually, but I think because you mentioned smartphones, I think Fairphone is a wonderful company and what they're doing is really inspiring. So yes, they have some work to do when it comes to the product and the design and the usability, and we really need to push that up. But they're basically making sure that working on making sure that the whole supply chain for all the materials they use in their phone is sourced sustainably, and that is really going deep and going to the mines and making sure that these things are all certified and it's solid and that these phones are repairable. And the Fairphone 2 I think came out about a year ago, and they're now at a scale where they can have continuous production and delivery. So look it up. I think it's a really great product and it's really inspiring what they're doing. They're in Amsterdam if you're looking for a good job as well.
Thank you. Okay. So, yeah, there's one more down here.
I was thinking about Kleiderkreise. I think a lot of people know it here. So,
What's it called?
Kleiderkreise, they sell second-hand online. So you, as a customer, can sell your own clothes or buy clothes there. So this means that it's, again, fast fashion and we don't waste resources for producing more clothes. And I think it's also
Simple,
a good
great
new,
business
simple
idea.
new business model.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
You wanted to say something?
Yeah, on top of my head, sustainability and energy. There is our energy provider Naturstrom, which uses part of its revenues to build or support new wind generating engines someplace. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but it goes to create more sustainable energy sources. And all the energy you use via this company, it's produced from green sources. So it's I think it's wind and solar and water generated energy. So this one.
Thank you. Okay, so still some hope going on. There's one more here, the last one.
Hello. I agree there's a lot of already sustainable businesses out there, but it's always hard because if we talk about sustainability, everybody also talks about something else a little bit. I think sometimes when it comes to companies like the Fairphone, like the one he just mentioned, that is, of course, a great motive behind it. But again, there you have the same system. Do you have, okay, we have a product, a smartphone, because we need them, and we're going to produce a second one. Maybe at this point, actually, the cultural practice needs to change. Maybe actually we need to stick to the old phones. For instance, like, I'm not quite sure like how many people have a smartphone. Actually, I do have still an old phone since like 3 years now, and I don't have a smartphone, which is tough, I guess. But maybe the cultural practice is actually what is sustainable, and not like, okay, we could only do product, but now it's green, but we continue, but in a green way. Yeah. So yeah, but that's a
good, yeah,
broad problem.
So it's you.
So, okay, and as a last thing today, I would like to finish this conference with asking you to think about when you come to the office tomorrow. We often go to a conference and then a week later we think, oh, wait a minute, there was this conference. It was actually nice and we totally forget about it. So I would like to take just a minute to talk together and find out what are the 3 insights that you take home from today. Actually try to think about what have you seen, heard today, and what are the 3 insights that you take home personally. You can do it talking or you can do it just for yourself. Maybe you even want to write it down, because what we have learned, I really like this, is that our brain functions with very short term. So let's just think about tomorrow or maybe Monday, what did we take home? What are we going to talk to our colleagues about? What are we going to talk to other people about? How are we going to keep the sustainable discussion rolling? Okay, just 2 minutes. Okay. It's been a long day, so with this little reflection, I would like to be the one who sends you out back into Berlin to the real life, and I hope you will have a nice evening. Thank you.
Well, thank you very, very much, also for the braveness to being the last one here. And I don't know if there are any questions now. If not, I'm not sure. I'm not working at an usability design agency or something like that. But sometimes I think that they are the one to blame because it's in their nature. They need to sell stuff to their customers. And for instance, they maybe need to sell the next app, and even if it's the 50-second app on the App Store for some brand or whatsoever. So the customers sometimes also don't know, as you said, what to do. They some kind of need to do something. But as you said, maybe we need to decide what to do with them.
Maybe just start to ask some more questions.
Yeah. What they want, really.
Who they want it for and why they want it.
Exactly.
Because maybe there's something else that we can do for them.
To maybe something better even.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, any remarks? Clive?
Just a question. When within the last half year, was there ever a project that you weren't 100% behind? That you sort of did because the money's good, the client is prestigious, but we're not really 100% behind it? Or when's the last time that you actually had to do that?
Me personally, I think, to be honest, at the beginning of this year.
Okay.
And
only you felt that way, or was it a company feeling?
No, we had some discussions about it.
Okay.
I think it's very hard to find the time when you just say, stop. So what we have we have actually established a little committee, and we have 5 criteria that we measure. If we have firstly, we listen to our gut feeling, and secondly, we have developed 5 criteria that we measure our decision on or base our decision.
That's all your manifesto. So
we have a manifesto already. Yes, we've had that for many years. That's where this. An interpretation of it is this poster that you showed from Eric.
Yep.
But we have a manifesto, yes. But we also have some internal guidelines.
Okay. And then it was a democratic decision. So more people said, "Let's go for it," or was it?
This was a decision that the partners made.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
You showed the graph of the population parted in digital natives and non-digital natives, I'd say. Do you think it's going to change in the course of the next 10, 20 years significantly so that there'll be a shift to the other side, the good side?
Well, actually, I think it is going to change, not completely. I mean, there are lots of... Germany is very unusual because there are lots of Germany as a country has total different numbers as, for instance, the US, where they embrace everything which is digital. There is a lot of reluctance in Germany to actually embrace this digital lifestyle. So I think there will still be a lot of people in Germany who will reject being 100% dependent on digital services. But I think that they will die out over time. And my hope is that new generations, like my son who's sitting in the audience, will have a more critical attitude to what we consume digitally than these people like me and other people in the audience who have been confronted with this later in life. So I think not so much, I think yes, the numbers will change, but I think also the behavior will change in general.
But I also think that, well, it doesn't matter if they are digital or not. I mean, we can work for them and do things for them, whether or not they are not less good for us. They are just people, and we can do other services and things for them, maybe, our products.
Well, the truth is, if we only work for 6% today, and most of the commercial efforts of the big corporations go to those 6%, then the gap between the people who are those 6% and the people who are on the right-hand side is going to be even bigger, and is going to be an even more bigger gap in our society as such, because aren't the people on the left-hand side the ones who have much more access to good education, who are usually higher educated, who usually have more money at their hand? So isn't it also at the end going to be mirroring a social gap if we continue this, what I call digital arms race? That's what I could be afraid of.
Okay. So any other questions, remarks? It was a long day for everybody. So thank you very, very much for the last keynote, Pia.
You're welcome.
Also, thanks a lot for, of course, to all the other speakers who contributed today, and of course the team, and you as visitors, and our sponsors, of course. I think it was quite a nice day that we had today. Some of you realized that we changed the location a little bit. There was various reasons for that, but I think it turned out very well. That we are here, it was quite a nice atmosphere, I think. And well, I'm happy that it turned out like this, and I think we learned a lot today. I will definitely take some lessons for me for